So here we go, guys. I'm going to use this particular nail polish here. This one is called Andalasia, and it has these really pretty purple roses on it. I'm not usually a pink girl, but this kind of gray pink is kind of fun, especially with the little designs that are on them. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to buff down my nails. With your buffer, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to which side you're using. It's going to be the coarsest to the finest, and the finer it is, the softer it is. If you have really deep ridges, you definitely want to make sure that you get your nails smooth. I have some issues with splitting on like my thumbs. So if you can see here, it's kind of hard to tell, but the ends of my thumbs are pretty rough. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to get my nails buffed down and ready to go. You definitely want to make sure when you are buffing your nail that you go in a crossways motion, and you never want to buff hard. And you want to make sure that you're lifting the buffer after each stroke. You do not want to build up friction and heat between your buffer and your nail. So on the back of my cards, I do have the step-by-step, and this is kind of where the step-by-step application process starts. And I have finished buffing my nails, and I just gave my hands a quick wash to make sure that any residue or flakiness from the nails being buffed is off my hands and out of the way, so that I don't get any of it under the Color Street application strips. The first thing that it says on here is to wash hands and push back the cuticles. You want to be very careful when you push back your cuticles. Definitely do it only after you wash your hands, and only do it if you really have cuticle that's coming up. You want to be very gentle. You don't want to stab in there and damage the cuticle and keep it from allowing the nail to grow incorrectly. Damaging your cuticles just is not good for your nail health. So just being careful that we're only pushing back areas where it is a little further up your nail. The next thing you want to do is file your nails into shape. I'm going to take a couple minutes and do that. My nails tend to grow a little faster in the middle, so I'm just going to give them a nice clean shape so that once they're on, I have a nice round edge at the top. So this is another time when you want to make sure that you don't build up too much heat and friction on your nail. Being careful to not push too hard while you file. Let the file do the work. Especially if you go and you get yourself a new file, they do clean up really easily. This one came with my starter kit, and it is just a pretty basic foam core-filled nail file. Gives you a little bit more stability when you're using it. So following along, our next step is to wipe with the nail prep pads. This is probably one of the most important steps when it comes to applying the Color Street nail strips. So what I have here are the regular prep pads that I got with my kit. These prep pads are just alcohol wipes. You can use plain rubbing alcohol. That's essentially what they are. Or you can buy nail prep pads at the store or on Amazon too. So I'm just going to use these for today because they're already here and ready to go. This is just, and like I said, just an alcohol wipe. This gets your nail completely clean and ready to go. Even if you've used nail polish remover, you definitely want to make sure that you have wiped with these prep pads. It is really important when it comes to getting the Color Street nails to stick. So I'm just gonna get these wiped down, and then we will get our strips open and ready to put on. Inside each of your, when you buy nail strips, inside the package, you do get 2 of the prep pads, and you do get a little mini file too. So if you don't have a nail file or you don't get a chance to go out and get one before you start, because you're so excited, that does come with it. So do a couple of prep pads. So when you open these, you want to make sure you stay as close to the open edge as possible so that we keep the plastic intact. We can use our flat iron or a curling iron or a regular clothing iron to seal these back up so that we can save the rest of the nail strips. And this is when you're gonna find out for sure that these are really nothing but nail polish. As soon as I popped this open, I could smell the nail polish. They are 100%. It's a base coat, 2 coats of the color, and then a top coat. When you remove it, you want to try to get only the one strip out that you need, but sometimes they are stinker and they want to come together. But it is easier to keep the other one dry, or not from drying out, if we can get it to just stay in the package. Got a little hang up down here. So I'm going to get these out and get these ready to go. Okay, so the next step, according to our chart, now that we have it open, is to select a size, tear them apart, and peel the covers off and the bases off. So we're going to just kind of walk through that. I'm looking here, and this widest one is pretty good for my thumb. There is absolutely no issue at all if you go a little wide. If you have to go a little narrow, they can be stretched a little bit, but definitely I find it easier to kind of trim them down, and we're going to take a look at that too. So the first thing you want to do is remove the plastic coating on top. This makes it so if you try to take the plastic off afterwards, it is much more difficult than before. The next thing that we're going to do is peel the bottom off here. And I'm also going to show you how we can get 2 fingers out of 1 nail strip. My nails aren't overly long, so it's not that big a deal. The next thing you want to do is rip the tab off the end. And now we're left with just the strip that we're going to use. So I'm just going to line this up here, trying to stay. If you do get it a little crooked, you can peel it off right away, and it just lays down. And this one fits really pretty close to perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it down, and then I'm going to use my nail underneath to kind of break this, give it a little perforation. Push with the stick so I kind of get, and you just pull down. Now with my thumbs, this may end up a little short, but we will see. I'm going to try to put it on right away so that it doesn't have a chance to dry. But because they are kind of pliable and my thumbs are pretty short, like I said, they break really easily. I can definitely, it looks like, get it up to the tip of my thumb. And I'm going to get 2 nails out of this strip. So then I want to just clean it up. And you can see I'm totally rubbing all over this. I'm not getting any smudging, anything. It definitely is a little easier to rip them, I feel like, if you have a little more nail. But just taking the end of my cuticle pusher here and coming along under the nail helps get it to perforate and tear off easier. And that is it. Get rid of these scraps. I'm just going to clean this up some. Now, along the edges here, you can kind of see that it's a little off. I can also just take another fingernail and push down in there, and we end up with the edge. This is the first full set I've done, so it takes a little more practice, but this is really very, very easy to do. I have a little bit of a problem spot there. I'm just going to kind of leave it alone. I'm so fascinated with the idea that I get to change these kind of as often as I want, being that the way that you can get multiple manicures out of a package makes it very affordable. So for now, that will be fine. And I'm just going to clean up this thumb. I'm going to keep going a little bit, and I will come back on once I have a couple more nails done. So while I'm working on applying this, I did just want to show you, I find as I'm doing this that pushing it with the cuticle pusher really kind of helps keep it from getting hung up a little more. It allows me to get in the groove and still see what I'm doing. Another step that's important that's not on the card is that we were, as a team, my team has found out, if you wipe the nail with the prep pad again after you apply, so just a quick wipe here, it does help the longevity of the nail too. So I'm just going to keep going. You can see that they definitely start to look like something a little more. Trying to stay in focus here. So I'm just going to keep going with the hand. I've got 2 on each hand done, and I'll check back with you when I'm closer to finish. Another quick tip I want to say is that I would definitely make sure that when you're ripping off at the edge, that you are pulling down. Make sure you don't pull up until you've kind of got a perforation there, because you don't want to lift it off the end of your nail. You want to make sure that you get coverage to the end. Another step that you can do is you can file along the edge just to make sure that you're getting a nice smooth line and you don't have any little roughness that could cause the nail polish to lift. So I'm just about finished on my first full set of nails. I just want to come back in and I just want to touch up. I didn't file the edges on my pinkies yet. Just want to make sure that there's no loose polish. You don't want to grab it and end up pulling the polish off. So just touch these up a little bit. I'm going to kind of go over them all one more time with an alcohol wipe prep pad, just to make sure that any oils that might have transferred while I was holding the strips gets all dried off so it doesn't have a chance to let them lift. So now I have some extra leftover pieces. when I've finished, I've put them all on because there are 8 strips in the pack, and I got 8 strips on the one long strip. I ended up with 3 extras. Something I wanted to show you is we can save these. This is a dark purple color that we have available, and you can see, hopefully, that these colors kind of complement each other. The roses are almost identical to the purple strip. This allows me to maybe make accent nails. If I was to do a full set of this, I could put a couple of these on my fingers as accent nails using the purple roses to complement and bring that back together just as something a little different. I'm going to put these back into the open package so that they don't dry out. If I was to leave these unsealed, they will dry. When you go to put them on, even if they still feel wet, they will crack and you won't be able to use them. I'm going to take my flat iron and get it nice and hot, and I'm just going to seal the end of this. It will not leave a residue on my flat iron. If you don't have a flat iron, you can use a curling iron, or you can use a regular hand iron to seal it closed. So that is how you apply Color Street nail strips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and share, and join the Dream Big Nails VIP group on Facebook for lots of good tips, tricks, fun games, and sometimes giveaways. Thanks so much.